Hi, Vic at Vic Saga 68, and thanks for uh, joining again on this Riga, Latvia Haunts 2. And the haunting is from years of, I don't know, there's a kind of a persistent kind of thing that haunts. And uh, as was originally planned on this whole tour, was to just do some sculpture over in Latvia, and it would take about a month, and it was part of an international sculpture tour, and so, but things haunted then, and they haunt now, and further. You've heard, if you saw the other one, you heard me complain about towers that drive me nuts. These guard towers on the collective farms. Yeah, people who have to control other people, and then there's the dictatorship of Stalin and what he did to the poor Latvian people. And then there was Hitler's group that come in, and wow, and then the Latvian, I think of Latvian kids, farm kids who are just protecting their farms, and if the Germans will help them, I would join them. Yeah, too. You do what you can. And then it didn't work out, and then here comes Stalin again. And then I learned, you learn later, decades later, you learn. How about the war after the war? That was after World War II. There was this whole war that took place with essentially I think the Latvian kids living in the woods in order to not be taken and not be uh, uh, taken to the political prisons and all that. And that lasted for years. And oh man, finally, the only way they could eat would be what the people would leave out on their porch, and that was for years. And finally, Stalin took care of that by taking all the people who would leave food out on the porch, just taking them away. Just they went to the gulags. They went to Siberia. I mean, that was the source of survival for the. Um, they have a they have a they had a they had different. I call them the Latvian Legion, but they had another name when they were in the woods living. At any rate, that just amazing thing. It just went on and on. So why is this still haunting? I'll tell you why. Portland and Minneapolis is why. All of a sudden, what? Sorry. Haunting. Haunting. People who have to control people, right? And I say, you go someplace else or you live the democracy, and you find out what the alternatives are, and you know that it's huge. And so we've got a lot of energies going on right now that is this previous of coming attractions? I don't know. But so this is a continuation of Riga, Latvia haunts too. Sorry to get all long-winded about it, but you needed to know that when I was much younger, that's what, and that's why the technology is so crappy on the images. So bear with me. Go back into the location at the sculpture park site, and then on into Riga. And yeah, bear with the technical glitches if you can. I really appreciate it. All right, enough jabber. Let's get into it. So that's the piece, and that's the items that were found in that location, and it brought other things into this situation. You know, you're doing art, right? And trying to, and there's other things that are haunting your mind as you piece it all together. So it goes. This is all kind of interesting to know that, it's where the farmers were and the farm kids, and where the farm was before devastation, and thinking of those German 88 casings, and looking at the, as I'm there to do sculpture, but I'm starting to understand maybe something more about what took place here, and I'm thinking, yeah, I would be in there. That's where I would defend from if I were the farm kid, trying to protect that from Russians and Germans, and so I look closer, and I'm seeing little chippings on that. I was wondering why they chipped that out. What caused? And then I realized bullets. Yeah, and then I start getting the picture, and then down below all the machine gun holes, and I realize, yeah, all of that. This is all kind of interesting to know that, it's where the farmers were and the farm kids, and where the farm was before devastation, and thinking of those German 88 casings, and looking at the, as I'm there to do sculpture, but I'm starting to understand maybe something more about what took place here, and I'm thinking, yeah, I would be in there. That's where I would defend from if I were the farm kid, trying to protect that from Russians and Germans, and so I look closer, and I'm seeing little chippings on that. I was wondering why they chipped that out. What caused? And then I realized bullets. Yeah, and then I start getting the picture, and then down below all the machine gun holes, and I realize, yeah, all of that. So there's a sculpture show, and that will be interesting to come back to. And the threat of rain is there, and I'm looking, got to find an umbrella. But trying to see what places to go to next, and I don't really do it methodically with a map and charts and all that, and I just sort of wander around, and so that's me wandering around. But the important thing coming up is the different architecture from centuries and from before things happened. This, I think, is a kind of a significant piece right in the middle of the more modernized situation. It's got to be medieval, and it's just this little chunk, and it's so great for the memory, that yeah, that is still there. Appreciate the putting a wall around it too, a little fence around it, and the memory of it was how things were. I do get a kick out of it becomes a nice little carol or nice little parking areas for the for the cars, and it seems like they'd gain more if they parallel parked, if they backed into it, but that's not my not my car. It's you're looking at 500 years there, real at a glance. There's this little situation. I'll give you a little. McDonald's. Gotta have that. Oh, I know what I'll do.
Okay, this took hours and hours, literally days to accomplish, but look, an umbrella. Got it. $2.90 laps, okay? 2 laps and 90-something centimeters. There it is. Got it. Now I'm ready for the world. Okay, so where was that gallery? Someplace that way. And if you want to know what a major triumph is, check this. Okay, and it's only about 4 o'clock, and we have an umbrella. Ha ha!
Yeah, this is always kind of an interesting situation. Knowing that it was a train station and knowing, look at the ground. Pavement, then gravel, then posts, then what? Yeah. Knowing what happens in train terminals, that's the first thing that gets totally decimated. That's where the troops are arriving, that's where supplies are coming in from, and so there's nothing much there. You've got the tracks, but no construction left. And again, you go through these things you don't realize until you start thinking back, and unless you've had some history, unless in this case you've had a Latvian friend who 60 years ago mentioned some things. Wow. And so then you start paying a little more attention, and that is why when I look at this.
And so another day ends in the old town area. Riga, Latvia. And then, always in the midst of all this. There's always some little vignette that just stops you. Videotape it or take slides. So this is the best we can do.
Take a look at that show.
This one was a wooden TV set, grass on the inside of the screen. This piece is about 15 feet by 15 feet.
It is very large, 15 feet by 15 feet, and yeah, these are heads on the ends, and then you come to these pointed parts that are toward the center, and it very well balanced and all of that, but kind of sinister in a way.
Cast heads coming on together on these stainless steel shafts over a disc. It's a drawing. Incredible multi-ton stone chair with a guillotine in the center, and it was pretty awesome in reality. Very large, amazing stone and steel piece. Great welded steel piece. About 10 feet tall.
About 10 feet tall, welded steel.
As you can see, maybe. This was a great canvas and cement piece.
Canvas and cement.
Variations off of combinations of canvas and cement. And a cast bronze. About 10. See, it's about 2 feet by 3 feet.
2 feet by 3 feet.
Of these tiny guys, about 300 on a board on a floor shaped of a boat. And
this was kind of a surprising piece. Again, it was very. It's on a. You can't tell what it's on because I didn't photograph it back far enough because I couldn't. But at any rate, it was on a boat, a large boat shape, and there are a couple hundred of these little things. They're like little. They got little eyes on them up on top, little tiny heads and yet they're just this mass-produced bunch of them, and it's hundreds of them. And why are they there? And they're all there. And the name of the piece is "When They Are Silent." And I, going along, went clear out. It was, I don't know, maybe that night later, it occurred to me, "When They Are Silent" is the name of this piece. And it kept on haunting me. And I'm thinking about when they are silent, you know. Yeah, dictators can do anything they want to people. Any kind of controllers can do anything they want to people when they are silent. And it started. This thing just started haunting more and more and more.
Become quiet. They're painted black, and they're ceramic.
Ceramic.
It's very powerful.
Ceramic on wood.
The boat was about 7 feet long. Another cast bronze piece called Boat of Heaven. Wooden piece.
Another sinister.
There were 2 or 3 Estonian wooden pieces of this technique. Pegged. That's what that show was. And all over this country as well, in the cities, you have people doing stick broom action just as in Russia in the morning, cleaning their streets. Saturday morning, we head to Estonia, late afternoon and through the evening, I guess.
Yes. The gallery had these pieces in front on their lawn, and they have like an inlaid cast iron but lighted eyes. These are eyes that look in 2 directions, and that's like the beginning. Then inside the gallery is this show, and if a person weren't previously informed from a history museum of what the reference is, you wouldn't know what the heck these things are. They look like leather pieces, Naugahyde or something. But if you see the history first, the history museum first, and bear witness to the, again, horrible tortures and the things that happened to the farmers who didn't want to go to the collective farm. And as you know, Stalin shipped all the mayors and the town people off to Siberia, and opened up the jails and the insane asylum, and those people then were given the positions, the civic leaders, and so they would be quite adept at torturing, I'm sure. So that's the reference as you look through these through this exhibition. So like eyes. these are like details, and that's
Parts and pieces.
the same thing in the museum
Photographs of parts and pieces. But
of
it's not
pieces
really
of people, pieces of the farmers.
strange things.
This is art. This is just relief sculpture. It's not the pieces, it's references. And this little family is all chained together.
Okay. They're like leather, they're like material, naugahyde, fabric, chains.
And it's not art about other art like we do in this country, but it's about horror. And I found it rather expressive, to say the least.
Dear man.
Closest we come is deer management.
Remarkable reflections.
Sorry for the reflective surface, but I could never get into the gallery when it was open. I don't know when it was open, wrong days. This little family scene, again, referring to one of the actual,
They're like material, naugahyde, fabric, chains.
one of the actual
Primitive farming. I mean, these people are rebuilding because there you can see the house that they're starting to rebuild, the farm, wherever it is, was, and that's where it was based on how the trees are. They got their little market going right alongside the road for the cash crop, and there's the cows. No fences, no barn. That's what the house location of that house, and so it's like a rebuilding of maybe.
that situation represents, I guess, 95% of the farmland there in all around Latvia, and same with Estonia and Lithuania, of course. And it has to do with, originally around the 30s, the collectivization, Sovietization, where you encourage these farmers to leave and bring everything they've got to the collective farm. And if you resist, you'll be encouraged more strongly through torture. And if that doesn't work, then you're sent, if you survive that, you're sent to the gulags, and you're sent to, you get you get to Kulima, you get to be part of the road of bones going to the Siberia, and it's amazing. People talk about unspeakable horrors. Well, should they really be unspeakable, unspoken? They should be. That's especially should be spoken about. It irritates me when I hear that term. Let the world know. Again, when they are silent, I think of that sculpture, and this farm here. As we go up to Estonia, Tallinn, there is another museum there, and it's the Gulag Museum, and it's the History Museum, also dealing with the same thing here too, where in this case they documented farmers, they documented farms, and you see the pictures of the family with their dog and the whole thing, and it's a little tag there. It says whatever the number is of that particular event, and then in the gallery they use that same tag, and they're making reference to this farm, and you'll see the sculpture, relief sculpture. And it's wire, and it's skin and hide, references, and you wonder what. And if you haven't seen the reference that it comes from, you don't know what they're, why would they have these ugly things on the wall? It's the memory. It's in reference to. It's not like in our country, this country, the USA, it's not about art, about art, about art, about art. It's, in this case, it's art about humanity. It's our art about unspeakable, and they're speaking about it. So, I tried to just go over there and have a nice sculptural experience, installing the sculpture, and it impacts on you when you realize what all has happened here. So these things, I don't know if you're born.
Kind of thing. Fascinating. Like the whole country out on the land is that way.
If you're born a little bit early around World War II, I look at these woods and I think of the remnants of the Latvian Legion escaping into these woods and fighting far after World War II was concluded. And you know that then. You learn this. These things that remind you of other things that remind you. And going north to Tallinn, Estonia here, and there's these propellers, and the sounds like reminiscent B-17. Just doesn't stop sometimes. Well, Vic Saga 68, closing out here. If you're still with me, thanks for going through this. Sorry for any negative surprises you may have experienced. I just started out pretty simple, just going to do some sculpture. One thing led to another. I didn't even mention there German helmets in the barn filled with the nuts and bolts and screws and nails and all that. Like I would have coffee cans in my own barn with the same in, and also you're scrounging in the field for things to put in the sculpture. And German 88s. It's like shells, It's like, oh, for crying. One thing led to another, and the more you see, the more involved you get, and the more it reminds you of your dear friend 60 years ago who told you about all this. And her parents and relatives and all of her Latvian people, and this is, and everybody has to go beyond, and Latvians aren't whiners, or they're not complainers, so they just you go stoic. You just you live, and you go on, and so they have. But one thing led to another, and I'm sorry if I either offended or nauseated, or this happened, okay? And I appreciate so much the Latvian artists who address it, and their arts of decoration is quite good. This is not their decorative art. This is their powerfully human expression, and about as powerful as it could be. When I'm talking about the great art in the world at the Hermitage, it's that which reeks of humanity. This I would say. Falls into that category by far. I don't mean my sculpture. I mean when we saw the works in the galleries of the Latvian sculptors who are working from historical information and historical references. I'm sorry I didn't have any videos, any images of the museums where you would see the families, the different families, just like my neighbors, on the farm. And then these were the ones that were tortured and destroyed, and wow, rough, rough, rough. Thanks for going through this with me, and I appreciate it. If you want more weird stuff, subscribe and give me a like, and who knows where we'll go from there. I see the couch over there, and I think I'll hop on that and call it enough for a day. All right, and more. So bye for now.